it's Scott Manley here. This morning I was surprised, nay shocked, to see a trailer for Kerbal Space Program 2. I initially thought it might be some fan tribute, but in fact it was a tribute to a fan tribute video because the soundtrack to this cinematic trailer was M83 outro, and the trailer itself thanks Sean Esso, who created one of the early great Kerbal Space Program tribute videos in the form of Build, Fly, Dream. This was such a beloved video that they managed to get the music licensed or get permission from the band or whatever, and it really it brought back great memories to see that in this trailer. I think it is a worthy trailer that gets me very excited about Kerbal Space Program 2 for a lot of reasons. And I'm actually going to go over the video bit by bit and take a look at a few things. But before we go there, I want to talk about what we know about Kerbal Space Program 2. First of all, there is a Steam page up. It is going to be Xbox, PlayStation, PC. There's a Steam page. There's probably be an Epic Games Store version. We don't know if they're going to, make it exclusive to one platform or another right now. But the page does describe going interstellar, going to a bunch of new planets. The cinematic includes a number of technologies that demonstrate, being able to travel really, really long distances. If you've watched my Interstellar Quest series, then you'll know a number of these technologies. They talk about colony building as being a kind of a core thing, and they talk about a lot more stuff to do on the planets, and tutorials and onboarding, because of course Kerbal Space Program is one of these games that, given that it's based on real physics and real orbital mechanics, can be really hard and really unintuitive to learn. And that's of course why I got to be known on YouTube, because I had a degree in astrophysics and I knew about orbital mechanics and could explain some of these things. In terms of development, the developers of Kerbal Space Program 1 aren't really involved with Kerbal Space Program 2. There's two different organizations. The new team is Star Theory, based in Bellevue, Washington. These guys used to be known as Uber Entertainment. They developed Monday Night Combat. They also developed Planetary Annihilation, but that particular team has been spun off into its own group. Squad are in Mexico City. They're still developing and maintaining Kerbal Space Program 1.0. We know that they're still working on it. There's been some snippets of updates for Kerbal Space Program 1.8. They're currently on 1.7. The last release was for the DLC Breaking Ground with all the robotics parts, and that has been a huge success. The robotic parts hasn't really expanded people into space, but it has expanded the number of things that people can do. It is amazing, the helicopters and the planes and the robots and everything that people have been putting together in that. It has been absolutely fantastic, and I've been playing it on Twitch all the time. So anyway, there's probably going to be some cross-pollination from Squad to Star Theory, but at the same time, Star Theory are clearly working on their own to a certain extent. They are talking to scientists, or at least the dev trailer shows them talking to people from the James Webb Space Telescope, probably because they're sort of local. And I don't know, what I've seen is that they're working in Unity, which is the same game engine that Kerbal Space Program 1 is written in. I have questions about just how much Kerbal Space Program 1 will be ported over as code. Obviously, the game is about building rockets and has to include aerodynamics because people build space planes, but they're kind of restricted to doing real physics as much as possible. But there are gameplay mechanics in Kerbal Space Program that could stand change. For example, the science system is something that's entirely artificial and tacked on. The mission system, the funding system, all these things are amenable to gameplay changes in a sequel. And obviously we've seen that there's a whole bunch of new parts. The trailer, incidentally, shows a bunch of old parts, and it shows a bunch of very exciting new parts. So look, I'm excited right now, but at the same time, I'm very cautious, because Kerbal Space Program is one of those games that has been such a success to the level that people are culturally aware of and make jokes about it that don't even play the game. A lot of people know who, the Thrill Master Extraordinaire, Jebediah Kerman is. They know who that is, even if they've never played the game enough. They know about exploding rockets and more boosters and more struts and check your staging. And so being able to follow up something like that puts a lot of expectation on this team. And it's entirely likely that this sequel might be found wanting, and there will be detractors, and there will be people that want to stick on the original version. So I'm cautiously optimistic, and I really obviously want this to be a huge success so I can go back and play Kerbal Space Program 2 and fight and just hit all those moments, those thrills that I had while talking about science at the same time. But let's go into the trailer right now. Now, I'm not going to play the music from the trailer because while it is beautiful and brings tears to my eyes sometimes, I would probably get a copyright hit, which would make me mad. So we see the logos for Star Theory and Private Division. We do not see the logo of Squad there, notice. They're not really there. I love that lunar surface. I hope it's in the final game, but I'm going to pause this right here. So many of these parts on this side, these parts are all stock Kerbal Space Program parts. They're retextured, right? These would normally be a different color. They wouldn't be as shiny as this. There's your standard lander cabin, standard solar panels. Here, well, some of these parts are stock. These radiators, for example. But here, this engine, that is not like any engine in the game. And in fact, it's sort of, if you look at it, there's actually holes in it, right? So that to me, it looks to me like some sort of magnetic nozzle rocket engine, right? It's some sort of electromagnetic, electrostatic system. I think that is perhaps the game's analog of the Vasimir, the Variable Specific Impulse Magneto-Resistive rocket. Anyway, it's a real engine that's developed that used a magnetic containment, a magnetic combustion, or it uses a magnetic confinement chamber and nozzle. That's the thing, and it allows you to change the temperature and therefore the specific impulse. Beautiful shot that I would love to see in the game. I would love fully working cockpits, and I would love for the planetary surfaces to be so rugged. Obviously, Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky have come out since the original Kerbal appeared, and they've done wonders for making the planetary surfaces look interesting. Yeah, again, we get another look at this lander here using almost all parts we've seen elsewhere. I would love Kerbals to be that well rendered, but this is just a trailer. Also, Bob breaking things using his head. Meanwhile, Valentina being quite happy to spend a few hours on the moon, because she's going to have plenty of time spending on the moon there. The launch tower! It has returned! Also, the first thing they build in the trailer is something that looks like a Saturn V, and then they decide that a Saturn V needs strap-on boosters. Because why not? This is the most Kerbal thing in this video right now. It looks gorgeous. Yeah, all this stuff looks very nice. Probably won't be there. But this shot here, let's just go back a second. First thing I notice here is that Terminator and that pole. Usually the Terminator should be along there, right? This should be day and night. But for some reason, Duna has been flipped on its side. Maybe this isn't Duna. Maybe this is actually Mars. And maybe they flipped Mars on its side. Who knows? But looking back here, this is definitely not like a stock Kerbal thing. These spherical fuel tanks, these radiator panels here, and this thing here that looks like an Orion Drive. The rotating habitat section is currently in 1.7 in the Breaking Ground expansion, but there's no gameplay reason to do it beyond it looking cool. Down here, there's one of those colonies perhaps that they're talking about. In stock Kerbal, all the physics on all this would make this thing run at an embarrassingly low frame rate. Also, wheels. Wheels have been one of these things that sometimes work and sometimes don't. I would love for the wheels to work properly and reliably. But there, look, bang, right there. Did you see that? There, look, we have an actual honest-to-God Orion Drive. If you don't know what the Orion Drive is, it is a concept pioneered by Freeman Dyes, an actual real physics concept where they would propel a spacecraft using nuclear weapons. This one looks great as well. So this looks like the inertial confinement fusion system that was proposed by the British Interplanetary Society to power their Daedalus. And here we get a great image of it actually firing. The idea being that all these lasers fire at a tiny nuclear fuel capsule. It's containing deuterium and tritium, and then it explodes like a miniature nuclear weapon and throws out a lot of radiation and energy, and these guys are going to get killed by neutron radiation, but the spacecraft is going to move on. Yeah, things falling and exploding. How very Kerbal. There is another high-tech looking drive. I think that looks to me like the Epstein drive from The Expanse. I will not be surprised to see the Kerbstein drive in here. More points for scientific realism here because they have lots of radiator panels. The problem with a lot of high-tech drive systems that use fusion power and everything is simply getting rid of the amount of heat that these produce. Another shot here, again, this is not like anything I've seen in the game before. This could be some sort of other laser confinement fusion system. Another drive there, I have no idea what that is. I do like, incidentally, by the way, look at that, the drive there, you get a close-up on that. I have no idea what kind of engine that is, but it looks like it's part of a Thargoid sensor from Elite Dangerous. I do like that in the developer video, they name-check Robert Zubrin. It's clear that they've been reading the right things, so that makes me very excited. Also notice, hairstyles. Would love some stock differentiation in the hairstyles. And yeah, of course, the whole thing falls. This planet is clearly very high gravity, the way everything is falling over there. And yeah, rings! Haven't you seen... I totally hadn't realized I hadn't mentioned that. Most of these planets that we've seen in this trailer have rings. There's so many beautiful... Oh, it is so beautiful. There we go, another rings and a planet near it. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, yeah, that might not work because that moon would be too near the rings, surely. Okay, well, I'm going to have to call them out on this. But I do love the tag at the end. Litho breaking near you in 2020. And yeah, we do get thanks to Sean Esau. So there you have it, the trailer for Kerbal Space Program 2. It is a thing, and it is being developed by a new developer, not related to the original. And I wish them every success because following something as iconic as Kerbal Space Program is going to be a tall order, and there's a lot of expectations riding on it. So yeah, do your homework, make a great game, and I hope to enjoy it. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.